Mr Chair.
I call Stuart Nash.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. The question I would like to ask is how much is a brand worth? Now, in 2005, the then Ministry of Economic Development tried to value brand New Zealand, the clean, green, 100% pure brand, and came up with a figure of about $20 billion a year. In 2008, PwC came out with a report that said about 80% of New Zealand companies who are exporting leverage off brand New Zealand. So clearly, anything to do with brand New Zealand is worth a lot of money, and it's good to see these protections are going to be in place. There's no doubt about that. And I look at the province where I come from, Hawke's Bay, which is building an enviable reputation around fine wine and great food. I mean, some would argue, and I doubt any in this House at the moment would doubt, that in fact Hawke's Bay produces the best wine in the country. Yeah, thank you very much. And I know that what we do is we target the super premium end of the market, which is where we should be as a country. And if we're not there as a country, then we need to take a good hard look at what we're doing. There are a couple of questions I have with regard to this bill, and I'm unsure if the Minister and the Chair is able to answer those or not, but they're worth bringing up. The first thing is the ability to register a brand, I think, is very important for what a lot of companies in certain regions are trying to do. It's slightly at odds with what Dr. Nick Smith is trying to do. They say, for example, around GE-free Hawke's Bay. We want to have this as part of our overall brand offering, and Nick Smith is saying, no, it can't be done, which concerns me. And it's also things around fracking. We want to be able to say as a region no to fracking because we think it's at odds with the brand that we are trying to create. And yet Nick Smith again is saying no, he does not think that this sort of decision should be made at a regional level. But when I look at, first of all, I want to talk about the duration of registration, and I have slight concerns about this. Maybe Mr McKelvey, as the chair of this committee, will be able to help me out on this. For some reason, the bill started talking about a period of duration of 10 years, but then they cut it down to 5 years. And I'm unsure why, because when an organisation or a group of organisations or an industry is trying to build a brand, they invest a whole lot of capital in getting that brand to a level where they believe it is actually paying way. And I would argue that 5 years is not long enough, that you absolutely need at least 10 years. So to cut it down registration from 10 to 5, I just can't see the logic in that, unless it's purely financial and they believe that what they're going to do is increase the registration. I hope that is not the point. And the thing about reducing the time of registration from 10 to 5 seems to be at odds with continuous use. Now, when I look at clause 16 and I look at continuous use, and I think this is very important, and let me backtrack a second. We have wineries in Hawke's Bay called Bridge Power, for example, and Bridge Power is a specific area. I would hate for another winery to be able to come in and say, well, we're located in Bridge Power, therefore we can use this. But it defines continuous use as 32 years, and then 22 years. I would argue that is far too long a time to define continuous use. I would argue that even 10 years is a very good preemptor of continuous use, because 10 years of a specific brand, certainly in a global market, is certainly enough to create the level of brand attribute that will repay the investment that is put into that brand itself. So I don't know why they only allow 5 years for registration when it was 10, but the continuous use provisions in clause 16 are a lot harder. The thing I would also like to talk about is offensive. I'm not too sure where Mr Pross is coming from, because the way I read this, it says be likely to offend a significant section of the community, including Maori. It's not specific to Maori. But the thing that I would like to also know is what is going to define offensive? Is it going to be quite a prescriptive list of what offensive is? Or if one person is offended, is that enough to say, no, we're not going to allow this? Or what actually is a definition of offensive? Or how is this going to be policed in a way that is actually legitimately fair? The other thing that we must understand, I think, because the purpose of this bill is actually to protect those who have been using a brand. I believe those in the wine industry are inherently honest anyway. If they weren't honest and they were using a brand without Mr. Chair,
Sure, Nash.
in a way that was dishonest, what it would in effect do is cause harm to that brand anyway. Say, for example, if we in Hawke's Bay said that this is Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc, then that would be inherently dishonest and the risk to the brand integrity would be significant. So the thing I do like about this brand is that what it actually does is it codifies codifies in legislation, which I think the industry does already at this point in time. So that is good to see. There is just one last point I would like to make, and that is, and you know what, I've forgotten what it was. It was incredibly important and was going to be about Hawke's Bay. But the thing I suppose I would like to say is it is good to see this, and it's good from a person who comes from Hawke's Bay because I think this will only benefit what we do in the Bay. Thank you very much.
Members, we come to the vote on part one. First, we have the Minister's amendments as set out on SOP number 244. And the question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. We now move to Richard Prosser's amendment as set out on SOP number 245. And the question is that the amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. Yes, party votes called for. I'll ask the clerk to conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
31 votes opposed.
Green Party.
12 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 in favour.
Maori Party.
2 votes opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Members, the ayes are 12, the noes are 106. The amendment is not agreed to. We now move to Richard Prosser's amendment as set out on SOP number 246. And the question is that the amendment be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. So, party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
31 votes opposed.
Green Party.
12 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
12 in favour.
Maori Party.
2 votes opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote opposed.
United Future.
1 vote opposed.
Members, the ayes are 12, the noes are 106. The amendment is not agreed to. The question now is that part one, as amended, stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party votes called for. Ask the clerk to conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
31 votes in favour.
Green Party.
12 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
12 votes opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 106, the noes are 12. Part one as amended will stand part. The question now is that part two stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
31 votes in favour.
Green Party.
12 in favour.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 106, the noes are 12. Part two will stand part. The question now is that the schedule stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. So, party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
31 votes in favour.
Green Party.
12 votes in favour.
Mr Chairman, could you ask him to repeat that? I didn't catch it.
Could I just ask, could you just repeat that one, please?
I'm sorry, 12 votes in favour.
12 in favour, thank you.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
ACT New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 106, the noes are 12. The schedule will stand part. We now come to the clauses. The question is, a clause 1 stand part? Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. So, party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
31 votes in favour.
Green Party.
12 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
12 opposed.
Maori Party.
2 votes in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 106, the noes are 12. Clause 1 will stand part. The question now is that clause 2 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. So, party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
31 votes in favour.
Green Party.
12 votes in favour.
New Zealand First.
12 votes opposed.
Green Party. Apologies. Maori Party. Apologies.
2 votes in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 106, the noes are 12. Clause 2 will stand part. I will report this bill with amendment presently. Members, we now turn to the